Hi, Nicholas. Darkus here. All right, so now we are in week two, the milestone two, and by now we are supposed to have, if not all, but most of our keys and breakdowns. At this point, our animation should look quite good. That means not just poses, but also timing. We are still in step, but if our keys and breakdowns are working properly, and if we have enough of them, uh, we should be able to say that actually we are in good stage. And at this point, we would also show definitely our scene to director or supervisor of animation, somebody who is above you, because they also would be able to tell if you are in going in right direction or not. If you are, then they will say, all right, it's approved, move on. So you would basically switch to auto mode. That's exactly what we're going to do for next week, right? Submission of next week. And then basically shifting the focus from building the poses into the pretty massaging, timing. And, there is really so much stuff actually to be done at this point, although you might say, well, I did my keys and breakdowns, I'm almost done. Well, there is really probably 50% at least work being left over for graph editor, massaging the curves, moving holes if they are moving holes, and probably there should be some moving holes in your animation to establish good rhythm and all shebang, right? And as I was actually I started recording, and then I guess, I don't know, I just pressed some button and looked like you were on the other side, so I just sent a message, hi, are you there? But it's really early in the morning. Right now it's 7:18, so I don't know, maybe you're sleeping, maybe I just pressed some stupid button. It doesn't matter. I'm recording and I'm gonna send you this, so you'll be able to follow the notes. Okay, so let's take a look.
Is this your fearless champion of law and order? The mark of Cain is on this man. Is this your fearless champion of law and order? The mark of Cain is on this man. Is this your fearless champion of law and order? The mark of Cain is on this man.
All right. It does look better. It does look better than the last submission. Walk looks better, but I did actually open your Maya, and there is still some clunkiness. Now, the thing is that you might say, what is the point of doing a feed or so, because nobody's gonna see it, right? That might be true, and if you are, for example, right now professional animator in some studio, you might actually be able to do that, because it's true, nobody's gonna see it, and your colleagues, other animators and director, they know that you can do walk. So it's not like you're not doing properly feet and that stuff just because you don't know how to do it, but you're just speeding up, you're cutting corners. There is no point of doing something that's not going to be on the screen. Everybody understand that. Everybody have to hit the deadlines, and that all is part of the professional production. But we are in the school, and if you don't do as a student something properly, how I as your teacher would know if you know something to do properly or not? So as I was looking through your Maya, I noticed that your character has a pretty much a flat feet all the time, and that looks really strange. So even if you don't see something on the screen, it should be done properly at this stage when you are still learning stuff. Because if you don't do stuff properly now, how are you gonna know what is properly? You know what I mean? You cannot cut corners at a point when you're still learning stuff. So the walk, like I said, looks better, but still, I feel there is some rhythm missing there, and also the same thing. Work with the hips should be also better while he is standing and talking and moving around.
Is this your fearless champion of law and order? The mark of Cain is on this man. Is this your fearless... Is this your fearless Is this your fearless champion? Is this your fearless champion of law and order?
Yeah, some stuff could be probably even simplified. He is, quite active with especially with his arm, right? So maybe we can simplify some stuff.
Your fearless champion of law and order. The mark of Cain is on this man. Is this your fearless?
Okay, so let's see first.
Is this your fearless?
Like, for example, when he is moving his arm, right? You go up to here, and then you pretty much have a arm in a little hold. So you get here, and then it's still there, and then moves to that point. So the arm, what arm does is like, ooh, ooh. I think we should get rid of this, right? So it would look more like, boom, get to this position and hold it here. So moving hold of this arm should be here, right? So let's get there and hold it, and then from that position you do this, right? So let's get rid of this stop here, boom. So as the arm is going forward, also be aware of spacing, right? So if arm is going from here to there, it have to have nice spacing. That means it has to speed up, right? Boom, boom, boom. The fastest is here, boom, 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 and then it slows down here, right? In your case, see the arm goes from here and then goes to there, there. You see the spacing, right? And now you see it kind of stops there. From here it just moves here. So it's like if you would have a pendulum, right? Let's think of grandfather's clock. This is pendulum, right? It has to swing, maybe even more. Let's say like this. It has to swing from here to there. It's gonna swing in nice arc. Now, to get from here to there, it cannot go like dum, 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 and then stop here. That's exactly what you have here with your case with arm, and then continue, right? It has to have a swooping motion. So here the pendulum would be the fastest in the middle. So nice slow out, acceleration, right? It goes fast here and then slows in here. And then, of course, slows out, fast, slows in on the other side. So when the person is walking and moving arms, right, back and forth, it's pretty much the pendulum principle. So this arm should, go nicely and all the way up instead of stopping here, right? As the character is walking, he could probably swing that arm a bit more, and then I would go probably more back. And then boom, 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 still facing a bit down. We are still creating overlap. Get rid of the second one. Here is probably still creating overlap. Yeah, so okay, so we have to get into this pose. That's an important one, right? And then we can hold it, right? Because we have to get in this pose sooner, because we're gonna get rid of this hold, right? So definitely we have to get in this pose sooner and hold it till 60. Right now we are here on 60, right? And then this part will work as what you have it. It's just that we have to get sooner in this one by getting out of that hold here. Also notice how you're forgetting to move the other hand. Other hand feels stuck in the air. Also, you notice this space between his hip and his finger, right? It's exactly the same size of here than what's on this frame. Okay, here is bigger. So comes to this, and then it feels like the arm is not moving. You see that? It got stuck here. The arm, should have that also bouncy feeling going up and down. So it's not a big deal. On first one, I guess it's fine. Boom here, and then when it goes on second, dip it, go a little bit lower, so that arm also has that up and down movement. Not much, right? Because we do want to focus on this arm, but still we cannot have a frozen other hand, right? Then, as I was listening,
so fearless. fearless champion of law and order.
He's going twice, right? For law and order, he's kind of repeating twice the same move. So I would try to simplify that too.
Fearless champion of law and order.
Of law, I would go only once with the hands up to his chest. It's a kind of like a trial, you know. Usually animation is trial and error, but I would like to try this first getting up to get out of it. So from here, when he's pointing, right, I would go in little anticipation down squash, and then I would pull it to this, and then I would hold it again. So I would get in this pose sooner. It would be my moving hold, and then from here I would do this. So I wouldn't repeat twice. Also be aware that sometimes you do this, you see. Bottom part, it does not move. So you kind of just grab the spine control and you move it. What I would definitely not suggest, because any kind of movement here would affect hips. There is no way that you can move upper part without moving hips at all. Also, you know, there should be a rhythm in the moving hips. So for example, if I want to get from here to there, right, I wouldn't just move hips like that. It should be like, you know, like when you listen your dialogue, there should be a rhythm, right? So it's like law and order, like law and order, you know. So if you want to get from here to there, you have to go to squash, anticipation, and a little overshoot maybe. So it's like law and order instead of law and order. You see how this is flat? So always looking for that rhythm in hips. The hips should always kind of work a little up and down, back and forth, you know. So once again,
fearless champion of law and order. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there is a need for twice to go there. I would just go from
Champion of law and order.
From somewhere here, right? I would skip this and I would go to this. So from somewhere here, skip this first fast part and go to this, and then continue what you got. But again, the same principle of moving hips up and down, right? If you have a hips here in a moving hold, then you can go up a bit. Okay, is that really up? Not really. So just imagine that character is going on his toes, right? A bit higher. And then you hit down, see? changing. You're not really changing any curves in your in the guy's spine. That's also making him a bit stiff. So you see, I dropped the hip down, and then from here I'll bounce to my position where actually I want to keep him there. So there was like one undershoot to get to here. Boom, boom. You see how hips are working, right? Up and down, back and forth. See how the hips are frozen here. They're on the line. Look, this was supposed to be anticipation for throwing the cigarette. Probably, he should maybe, move a little bit more towards this side. Maybe if it's possible to get this hand out of the body to get better silhouette. And then throwing, boom, but also moving hips the other side. All right. Then something also is not all right here. He is kind of stationary with the hips, and then he goes for this anticipation, but nothing is happening really in the height of the hips. The hips are constantly on the same line, on the horizon. If you look at this horizon, you see that they're always on this line. Now you're going kind of down, but I'm questioning this position, so we'll see that in Maya. Again, it doesn't feel like floaty. It feels like instead of going nicely up and down, and this is how the hip area should always float around, instead of going in this very rigid that's how it feels to me when I'm looking at it right now. So to get from this position, and if you're going back in anticipation, first he would have to go down and get him a little bit flexibility in his spine. It feels very stiff. So push him down, and then when he goes back, work with the spine again, push it that way. I don't think he has to go that high with a leg. It will be so from here we go for contact. This foot has to make contact. I would go, yes, I mean it's good to have at this point torso still back, but arm I would still probably hold it back. So we have a contact, and now we need a dip. Boom, you don't have that. Dip forward, see? He's dipping. And then up. And then up. From here, up. Maybe overshoot a little bit. You see, if we think that this line is kind of like normal height of his hips, then we can overshoot a little bit. Boom. So it's gonna go like this. Now this might be too much, but and then because that was overshoot, now we settle down to normal height. Like I said, this might be too much. Can maybe have an overlap here, yes. And then boom. does feel like he's really maybe leaning a bit too much forward, but I hope you got an idea. See? So your character, like I said, it's walking flat-footed, what is, of course, not correct. So if this is already part of his walk, why is he flat? You know, make sure that he's walking properly. You go. That means, you see, right now, it looks right away that he doesn't look, that he's not in the way how he's supposed to be, because, well, you know, the front leg actually has to be always straight at a contact pose. There you go. Back foot. All right, there is heel up, but not enough. Not enough, definitely, because in a contact pose, the heel is at the highest position. So there you go. The highest. So what's happened after contact? After contact comes down. That's not down. So what is that position if this? Yeah, it doesn't really feel like that's down, down, down. On down, of course, the heel would work even more up, or it's already peeling. That's up to you, really. That's a choice you can have. So when I was talking about that rhythm, right? You see how the hip now goes down and then goes up for passing pose. Now I don't know which pose is that. You should get rid of this one, because from down position he should go to passing. That's more like passing. But on passing, the supporting leg is supposed to be straight. Character shouldn't be leaning back, maybe tiny bit forward, definitely not back. On passing position, we need weight shift, and also hips should be leaning down. That means we'll have to grab the back controls and get the character back to where we want it. While the foot is going through the air, there shouldn't be any this funkiness going on. The foot should be like pointing down. Yeah, I don't know about this position, what that is, but so from here he would go to this. This one is now contact if he's gonna stop here, so Contact, it's always on the heel, unless he's walking backward. If he's walking backward, then it would be on toes. Contact, boom, now goes down a bit more. You have to look at the hips, right? You should open graph editor. In a graph editor, the curve should always go up and down where the character is walking. Now you see, you shoot over and then you leave it there. No, if you shoot up now, then get him a little bit down. So there is always movement in the hip. The walks are something that you simply have to know how to do it, and you have to understand them, because as an animator, there is no way around. I mean, when you're watching movies, right, the characters are constantly walking left and right, and I mean, they're moving on the screen. So how you move the character if you don't know how the walks are working, right? It simply has to be done properly. This is like a small half step at the end, so I'm not, I'm just trying to get it, convincingly there. Maybe he should go a bit up. From here to get to there, I would definitely go first in that. Uh-oh. And now he goes from this position, right, to get to, I mean, I dip him here, so it looks already, you know, how it's supposed to, you know, go down and back up, maybe even more. You see that movement up and down with the hips? That's what I'm talking about, that rhythm there has to be, you know. Never have a flat hips. You know, why would you go so far forward with a foot that is in air and then just kind of almost going back to put it on flat on the, no. No need for this foot either to go so high, I would say. So this one should be already contact. Done. First contact and then boom, we go to down position. Down. See how hips are now working, right? So first up is overshoot, boom, and then we get him a little bit down. And now here again he feels a little bit stiff. We're mostly moving in upper part, so maybe we can something like that. All right. Okay, now I'm really stretching this for a long time. So I'm gonna stop here, and I just, you know, I hope you're gonna be able to understand what I was going through. Hopefully I was kind of clear. So next time in auto mode, and let's have a, you know, scene pretty well and getting close to finish line. Thank you, man.